So today I have a special guest. She's Natalie. She's a college graduate and a PhD student, and a very good golfer. And she also has a YouTube channel. So welcome to the channel, Natalie. How are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not bad, not bad. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience in college golf?
Well, to put it completely bluntly, it was like the best experience of my life. I loved playing golf collegiately. I played golf I'm in the United States here in Missouri. I played golf at Missouri Western. It's a Division II school about an hour north of Kansas City. And I played all 4 years there. I didn't redshirt, started right when I got there. And it it was such a good experience. I don't even know where to begin, other than I was very fortunate in that I had a golf scholarship, which was great, obviously, from an academic standpoint, and being able to, get my school paid for is always a
But how do
bonus.
how does it still work there? Like, because I always wonder about scholarship. You have to be like a really good player besides the academics, I guess. Is it based just merely on your skills or how good you are?
There's a lot of working parts to that. Now, I will say I'm 28, so I was going through the recruiting process, over 10 years ago. So the entire face of golf, especially women's golf, in the collegiate realm has totally switched. Whenever I was playing, there were very few international players that I played against. Whereas now, from what I understand, almost every team, even Division II, in AIA, all levels. There's international players. Long story short, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but if you are wanting to play golf, especially as a female, if you are able to play decently well and make good
Right.
grades, that automatically makes you a pretty good candidate. Because a lot of, especially Division II schools, they split up scholarships. So
I see.
um, I may have a 50% scholarship athletically, but then maybe I get some academic scholarship because I make good grades. And so there's a lot of I don't know, a lot of work that goes into figuring out how that works for an entire
Understand.
team.
Okay,
Yeah.
because this, I mean, and the level of golf, I mean, the skill level is really high, isn't it? I mean, from
Hmm.
work, because I mean, what I've seen, even if we look at some of the PGA, for men PGA players, a lot of go that route. They do college golf and then they go in the PGA,
Hmm.
and for women is sort of the same, right? I mean,
Yeah, and again, it's totally different now than whenever I played. Also, too, just thinking back, like when I was being recruited to play college golf, like I recorded my swing on a camcorder and sent a CD
oh
out, and now, there's all
yeah,
these
you have all the
platforms and
tools.
yeah, and so I think that's kind of made it easier globally for people. But it's definitely interesting, especially from a skill standpoint too, because um, from adding a college sport, so like if a university for a Title IX issue needs to add a women's sport, golf is one of the cheapest sports to add, rather than something like softball or volleyball, because players, they bring their own equipment. You have to have some jerseys, and you
Right.
only have, five people that are traveling. So back when I was playing, there were a lot of opportunities. If you could break 80, you were probably going to be a candidate to get to play somewhere, especially some of the
Really.
smaller Division II schools. Yeah, absolutely.
How much? I mean, is there a big commitment? I'm assuming a lot of practice goes into the team, right? That's it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think also too, again, I'm just giving my perspective because
Right.
there's just so much. But um, you know, for me as a player, I've always been kind of a loner. And so we would have team practices, obviously, qualifying rounds, all of that. And then I was a big proponent of practicing on my own. Not that I
Right.
didn't want to play with my teammates, that was just kind of how I am.
Mhm.
And so for me personally, I was practicing probably, I think we had a limit of 20 hours a week. with the NCAA, with our team. We were only allowed to practice that much. And that stuff changes. I don't know what it
20
is
hours a
now.
week. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And so I would do my team stuff. And then I usually was also doing stuff, on my own in between classes, on the weekends. And during the summer, I mean, it was not uncommon for me to practice 8 or 9 hours a day and
Wow.
work. So,
I see.
you
Okay,
know,
that explains why you're really good. I mean, and a lot of people who play college golf are really good
hmm
at the sport because you spend a lot of time practicing. That explains a lot.
absolutely.
Okay, so now, okay, so you're actually now you're a PhD student. So you want to pursue a career in what is what is that you like to teach or
Um, that's a really good question. I'm still kind of figuring it all out, but
different?
I actually am graduating, knock on wood, this month. So I will have my PhD at the end of June if everything goes according to plan. And what I'm planning on doing, YouTube is like my number one full time, what I'm planning on pursuing, content creation for golf. And then I study all golf risk management and legal issues research. That's all that I do. So I'm really interested in pursuing like consulting opportunities with golf courses and parks and recreation departments. And then also I want to teach a couple law classes, that kind of thing too. But
Okay.
YouTube and golf content creation, that's kind of my main focus
Okay,
once
but
I
let
get
me stop you
completely
there. But
done.
that is really interesting because you don't see that very, okay, so I mean, I haven't seen that yet.
hmm
I always see, amateurs or coaches, but not like a college graduate or, someone like you who even achieve a higher level of education and so you want to make YouTube like your main that's your main thing that you want to okay, okay. So and what is your plan? I mean, what is so far? I mean, your channel is great. And
Thank
one of the
you. Thank
videos that
you.
I tell you what, one of the videos that I really like, and actually, is one of the course blog that I will encourage everybody to watch. This is I think it's the winter practice. Is that what you call
hmm
it? And basically you went shot by shot explaining, the course management. And one thing that I really that was really neat for me that actually when you talked about the commitment, the commit to the shot, you mentioned that in one hole. It's like if you're not going to commit to the shot, you're going to get a bad shot regardless, or you're very likely to get a bad shot. But if you commit to the shot, you're at least going to get a decent shot. And that really,
hmm
is something that maybe you think, there's, and it's true. I kind of apply it a little bit. It's like, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I guess, for me to just think, okay, I gotta commit to the shot, but what does it really mean to commit to a shot? But if you really think about it, okay, I want the ball to go, and it does make
hmm
sense. A lot of times, a lot of people just they just play the shots and they don't even thinking what it, So
Yeah.
I thought it was really interesting. But anyway, so you're planning to do YouTube and you do various a lot of things. I've seen that you have a mixture of content, right? Oh, go for
hmm
later, always. Okay. What
Yes.
else do you want to do? What else do you want to do with the channel?
So I've kind of got a bunch of ideas, and since I've been in school, I'm just now kind of getting back into really pursuing it because of everything with the virus and, being a PhD student in general. But one of the main reason I made my channel is because, like I said, I'm 28. I'm single. I don't have kids. Golf is kind of my passion. And I know I'm not the only one that's in that position, and I know a lot of people that are my age that have kids that don't play golf, that they can get their entertainment elsewhere, but for me, I want to learn stuff about golf, but I want to learn from someone that's similar to me. And so I kind of have this viewpoint of I want to create a channel that is like what would be in a golf magazine, except for I don't want to do a whole lot of instruction just because I'm not a PGA professional. I don't feel that I have the credentials to really, be breaking down someone's swing other than my own,
But
you know.
I think a lot of there is that turns a lot of people off, to be honest.
Mhm.
Instruction. And but things like for instance, I'm going back to the video when people show like, okay, this is what I do, this is how it worked for me. I think that is so much better than, because I think if you're given an instruction, you don't really know what the other person, how the other person is swinging. It's just a
Absolutely.
video. So
Hmm.
if you actually show, there's people who are watching, they know, how you're swinging, so they can actually relate to you, and you say, this is working for me. And then that person say, oh, well, I kind of swing like her or whatever, or someone say,
Hmm.
no, absolutely, she's not in my level. I'm totally different. So, I think, that's my take on instruction, and I think a lot of people are turned off by that, and they rather see just playing golf or
Hmm.
like that kind of like the video that you made. So, anyways, continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So I kind of want to do again more of like the lifestyle stuff, and some of the videos I make are probably, more, I don't want to say geared toward women, but more women may want to watch them. However, I'm trying to make content that any golfer would want to watch. I have that father versus daughter challenge where I
Absolutely.
basically vlogged my dad and I's round, and I really enjoyed doing that. And I'm really hoping here in the next few weeks, even this week, I've got some videos planned just to talk about like how I'm getting ready for the golf season. I know I'm not the only one that I mean, I haven't really played competitively for the last 7 years because I've been in school and I've been doing all of these other things. And so I want to kind of document that a little bit because I think it's really easy when you've competed at a very high level to think, well, I'm never going to get back to that. So, I might as well just kind of end that here. I can always just play in my little country club league and call it good. Whereas, like, I'm of the belief of, okay, I want to get back to how I was before, maybe even better. I want to start playing in some highly competitive events. And I want to talk about how I was able to do that because, I it's so easy to see that linear path from people that graduate college that they play on a mini tour and then they go on in the LPGA or PGA or even some of the other tours.
Mhm.
You can see that linear process all the time. But if you're looking for somebody just to watch for entertainment value on YouTube that, is competitive, knows golf, but, that's not been their thing for the last few years. They're kind of
Mhm.
like a normal person, but doesn't
Right.
mean they're, you see these pros and then you see these people that are beginners. There's a lot of people that are in between
Right.
that, what
Mhm.
is there for them to look at, and especially someone like my age, I love magazines. I like golf magazines. I like that kind of media. But most people my age they're not going to go buy a magazine. They're much more likely to watch something on YouTube. So I'm hoping to provide that kind of outlet, lifestyle, golf material, but I want to be able to kind of encourage people to play and show them that you don't have to just be a professional and you don't have to just be a beginner. Anybody has the opportunity to get better at golf and, to continue playing. And I think that
Right.
that's really important and something that hopefully I can hopefully in YouTube world people will see that that's important, to see that it's not just one class or the other. There's a lot of people in between too.
Yeah, that's the great thing about YouTube. There's, everything is different. I mean, otherwise it would be really boring to have the same old coaches. You find the videos, watch them, and that's really entertaining. Let me ask you another thing about, because you don't, obviously there is the big female golfers like Paige, I think, and there is a
Mhm.
few other ones from California that are really big. But then after that, really, I mean, unless I'm missing out, I don't know, but it's not very common to see
Mhm.
female golfers, YouTubers. Um,
Yeah.
I think in the UK maybe there is some amateur lady, I think, but one, so that I know
Mhm.
of. So I think it's unique. I think it's just starting now, maybe. I don't know, but
Mhm.
I think do you feel any like pressure as a woman doing YouTube, or you don't even? Is that not nothing that doesn't come into mind at all?
Um Here and there I do. As far as like being female and, there's a large male audience, that doesn't really bother me so much because I try to look at it from the perspective of if you go to a supermarket and you want to go buy wheat bread, there's so many different types of wheat bread. Doesn't mean that one's better than the other. They're just different types. And so I try to like apply that to my kind of channel and my philosophy of, I may be providing something that other people would want to watch, but I'm not the same as anybody else. So there's still that pressure, but I try to look at it from that perspective that even if I'm creating golf content, I'm still doing something different because I'm a different person. And that's also too where I try to create content that everybody will enjoy, whether they're male, female, youth, junior golfers.
Right.
But I think my kind of how do I say this? I'm not on Instagram and YouTube to be the like sexy golfer. And that's
Hmm.
props to them. If that's what they want to do, that is
I,
totally cool.
you know
You
what?
know,
That's the thing that a lot of people, I think, and I think that's the problems that Paige, right, had, that the people were like really starting to bother her, just because you posted. I think she had some kind of bullyism. So, I think there's just people that just like there's just they just comment things that they don't really mean. I'm sure maybe for a woman it could be a little more pressure because I know that some people may look, oh yeah, the sexy
mhm.
golfer, but
Yeah, and that's, and also too, like that's not to even put them down. Like if that's their market, that's great. But that's just not me. I don't know. If anyone goes on my Instagram, they see I'm like a total goofball and I make fun of myself more than probably anything else on my Instagram. And that's kind of like the thing that I don't want to intimidate anybody. I want to make sure that people feel welcome when they come to my Instagram, my YouTube, and, not to say that those people aren't, but that's just not who I am. And I think in some ways that's really good, but obviously there are going to be people, just like you said, that they're not going to want to watch my videos. And that's fine. They don't have to watch them.
exactly.
Um, but it's all about, I think, finding your audience. And once you find your audience, the pressure kind of melts away a little bit. Now, there are days that I get down. I'm like, man, I wish I had more subscribers or more
Mhm.
followers or whatever. But I don't know. I'm trying to look at it from the if you build it, they will come. They'll find it
No,
if they're
but
looking
that's
for it.
that's a lot of we there's like a little like a community in YouTube actually where there's
Hmm.
all these golfers, a lot of people who, besides the viewers, there's a lot of people who like to make videos and stuff like that. And I think the main thing in YouTube, I guess, if you do it constantly, like say, every Monday I put a video, obviously at the beginning, maybe it's not going to be, but if you're persistent, I think it applies just like everything else, if you keep
Hmm.
studying, whatever, you're
Yeah.
not going to get results right away. But yeah. Is there anything else you want to mention?
I think the main thing that I always want, like I said, I want people to feel welcome. And I don't want anyone to feel intimidated by golf because it's intimidating at first, especially, you even get away from all the mechanics and the swing. It's a totally different community of people. You have golfer people and you have non-golfer people. To me, there is a clear distinction between those two groups. And my thought is if you're on the outside, it's really hard to break into that and to understand, the terms, the etiquette and all of that. And so the main thing that I always want to try to encourage people is to not feel intimidated and to understand everybody gets to that point. And hopefully my channel can provide some sort of, doorway to that. And then also, be helpful to people that have played their whole lives as well. So,
Definitely. Definitely. I will put a link in the description so you can people can go and check your channel out. Well,
thank you.
Natalie, it was great to have you in my channel. Thank you for the talk, and I think there was some really interesting information we discussed. And thank you for being in the channel. And hopefully, maybe we can do this another time in the future to discuss some other subjects.
Yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
again,
Thank you so
Natalie.
much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks. Until next time. Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.